Brought to you by the Beautiful Game Network. I'm Mike. With me is Kevin Josh. Considering the lackadaisical way the Hounds played this weekend, we may or may not talk about them. We'll see. Let's go. Hi, guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
Howdy.
Good.
We typically get in here a few minutes before the show starts, and we have some time to just like rant. And today we were like, just do it. We're gonna do it live. We'll just do it live. We'll just have the rant live. Kev, how are you feeling?
Better. Yeah, I mean, it's been about almost exactly a week now from like testing positive. Yeah, I mean, it's first time I had COVID. And I haven't been sick in like 3 years because, just we don't do anything during the era of COVID. So yeah, I mean, it was not fun, to state the obvious. Chills, body aches, temperature, headache, congestion, cough, sore throat, all that stuff. So it knocked me out for a little bit, but I'm back. I'm ready, and I'm ready to like embrace the world for like 2 weeks until
I was gonna say, you get to go like all the things now. Like you gotta get out of get out of jail free card. You got a hall pass. You can go do whatever the heck you want.
I feel like Superman for 2 weeks, and then,
that's right, man. Jump in front of cars, like it's
exactly. Do it all.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, good. How and Riley's doing okay?
Yeah. She's just like 2 days behind me, I think. Like she ended up testing positive like 2 days after I did, and her like peak COVID-ness was about 2 days after me. So I'm feeling a little better than she is right now. But yeah, she's up and moving around and doing everything fine. So
good. Josh, you celebrated your 20th birthday this weekend, so happy birthday to you.
20th birthday. Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Yeah. 38 years old now. Or as Liz likes to remind me, no. You are on your 39th year. You've already had 38 years. Which,
have we talked about how your wife is the worst?
Like, okay, yeah, right. That's
my father-in-law says the same thing. Yeah,
it's like, okay, we get it. All right, yeah. So 38. Yeah. It was a fun birthday up until having to watch the Hounds on your birthday be completely dreadful in front of a bar full of people, and like it's like you at Bulldog when we have watch parties, it's like 90% of us sometimes, or like 50-50 depending on the day. This one was actually mostly all of our supporters, but you still have like the couple of people there who are like, oh, soccer's on the TV, we're gonna watch it since we're already in here. And I just felt embarrassed. It's like, yeah, this is the team we support. Didn't you guys say this team was really bad? The team we're playing against? Yeah, they're terrible. Okay.
Were you sitting there looking at the new case at Bulldog, holding the old guard shield and just like reaching for it, hoping it doesn't have to leave after the game like this?
Yeah, that was like, we just had this case built. Like Jesse did all this work to get it built, the owner of Bulldog, and like looks great. We've decorated it. We have other little, tchotchkes in there, but that's the only trophy in there is the old guard shield. And yeah, it's like, cool. Now that might be going to Charleston, so we'll see.
Yeah.
They better have travel supporters, because if we do have to send it to Charleston, I don't have to mail that thing. It's so heavy. So like, if they have traveling supporters, at least I can like just chuck it to them at the game. Be like, here you guys go, take it back.
Well, I mean, if they win it, they just have to come get it. That's all. Like, you're happy to hand it to them, but like,
rules in place. And one of the rules is we have to ship it.
Oh,
but
that's rough.
That's only if there's no like, if we can't hand it off. So we'll see. But you just have to win
saying
4-0 when they come to town. That's all. No big deal.
Yeah, no sweat.
Actually, I think we can draw, and it's still ours, I think.
I meant to look. This is how like just disinterested I am in this whole thing. I meant to look at the schedule. I think we play them 2 more times. and so it's actually like best of 3. But I
No,
could be totally making that up.
it's never best of 3. It's always going to be, I think it's the last one that you play. So like if there's 2 home games against them, it's going to be the last home game, I think. Do we play
Oh,
them 3 times though?
that's what I'm saying. Like
I
I
don't think we do.
typically do all sorts of work, and I was like, I gave up on this game, so I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not a ton of energy after the fact for sure. Yeah. While Josh looks that up, it sounds like everybody's saying you happy birthday at the
Oh.
pub.
Yeah, that was miserable as well. But yeah, cool. Having a whole pub singing happy birthday, not my thing. Not my thing. But like I said, it was mostly still I remember, so it was no big deal as far as
Good.
like embarrassment level. Did also get a kitten. Wasn't really my birthday present. It was just
Whoa.
happened to be the same day, or not the same day. It was the next day, Sunday. So have a new addition, Endora, to the house.
She's very cute. Liz was sharing pictures earlier. So how old is she?
Like 6 weeks or something like that. I don't know.
Oh wow, so like really young.
It's a kitten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to
That's
animal
awesome.
shelter and found a completely gray cat because that's always what we were looking for, is like a nice blue Russian looking cat. So
Matches your shirt and your beard and your
yeah,
whole
everything
motif.
else.
So
Yeah.
yeah. It's good. Good.
What like do the other pets in the house, are they acclimating?
We only have one other cat,
Hmm.
Una, and Una is definitely not amused by the fact that we have a kitten in the house. She's not as bad as she could be. She's not like swatting at her or anything like that. She's just, anytime Endora gets close to her, she just starts hissing at her. And then Endora is just like, oh, cool, no big deal. I'll just rub up against you. You'll hiss, and I walk away. So she's non-phased by it at all. So hopefully she gets over it here soon, but we'll see.
Back to Charleston for just a second. Bill Gordon put in the chat, just a home with Charleston with return on August 31st at Stadium Highmark. So, yeah, we got one more shot on August 31st to make up for that 3-0 deficit, which is just super duper. I'm going to prolong talking about this game as much as I can. Saturday morning, we took a tour of Conemaugh Dam, which was kind of crazy. Like, I'm thinking, have you guys seen like Vegas Vacation where like Chevy Chase is like in the dam? Like, first of all of the like dam tour jokes, like it just didn't stop. So even the kids were like, "Is this the damn tour?" And I'm like, "I know what you're saying, and it's fine because like this is the only time you can get away with it." But it was awesome. Well, so first of all, I was thinking it was just like this little dam. I had to get clearances through the Army. Like, had to send them like my SOCH. They had to make sure I wasn't going to like blow this thing up. Yeah. Kev, your face. It was about 13 stories high, and at the top, it was just metal grating. So like as you're walking, you're just looking 13 stories down to like cement and water just like pouring out. And the kids are like running and jumping like, yeah. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like I'm gonna crawl on this thing. And especially since we had some like real little kids with us, and there were spots that like they could fit their foot through. And I was like, nope. And so the tour guides, you could tell they weren't used to like having kids there. And they just wanted to keep standing up there and talking. And I'm like, can we go inside? Let's go inside. Let's go inside right now. We should go inside. We should totally go inside. But then once you're inside, it was like you were in the Batcave. Like, first of all, you had like 30 feet of cement on all sides of you. It's like literally just like this tunnel that you can walk through. And they literally had bats in there for a while. They still get water that like seeps in. And so the calcium from the water creates the stalactites that actually like hang down inside. And it's always a constant 55 degrees in there because like you're so insulated that the temperature is just the same year round. But it was really, really cool. And they were talking about how when they inspect it, they actually like close the doors to the dam so no water can get through. And then they walk the tunnel to like get to that door. And so you have to walk like 100 yards down this tunnel, knowing there's just this steel door keeping the water from getting at you and just blowing you all the way out. But it was awesome. I was not expecting, I was like, we're going to go on this dam tour. And it turned out to be, probably the highlight of the day since the Hounds were so putrid. But
did you say what dam it was? I can't remember what you said.
It's a Conemaugh Dam, which is
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to. It's in Conemaugh. It's like up near. I guess it's up near Kiski, up that way. So, yeah,
You're saying a lot of words. I don't know what they mean.
I know. It was interesting, Kev. You'd appreciate this. They have a power generation station that's further down river, and they were like, oh, everyone is like hydropower, like it's so green, it's great. We should just do everything hydropower. And they said that the one downside of hydropower is the water pushing past the turbines. It creates so much friction that the water heats up. So when they pump the water back into the river, it basically like cooks any wildlife that are like living in the river, like near where it enters. So there's like this whole thing of like, how do we do this and not like destroy ecosystems still? And that was just a trade-off that I had never considered. I was just like, oh yeah, it just pushes the turbine and it's great and it's free energy. And it's like, there's trade-offs. So yeah, did
I
that.
think that was very cool, but I think we need to talk about the game, Mike.
I really don't want to. What else did we do? We sort of prepped. We're supposed to leave Friday to go to Asheville. So Kev, we'll be seeing you there.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll record anything. We'll see. Josh, it'll be up to you guys to do a show if you want to do a show after RGB.
We'll see how the performance is.
Honestly, like this is kind of where I'm at. I mean, all right, oh crap. We've gone like 12 minutes. I guess we have to kind of talk about this. Anything else we could talk about? Like literally,
just hand it over.
Let's just talk about the game.
What? Thor tickets went on sale the other day, didn't they? Right? Miss Marvel, Obi-Wan. Anyone want to talk about? No. All right. Fine. Charles. Okay, so, full disclosure on this one. I literally turned the game off at halftime. So the Hounds were down 3-0 at halftime. I put up a Twitter poll saying that literally my son walked in and was like, can I watch Into the Spider-Verse instead? And I was like, nah. So I threw up a poll. I said, son asked, can we watch Into the Spider-Verse? Should we watch it or should we keep watching the Hounds? And 80% of the 30 people responded said, go watch Into the Spider-Verse. So that's what we did. So I only have the first half as a takeaway. Gentlemen, Josh, I'm assuming you stayed at the bar for the whole game. Do you got any takeaways from this one?
Not great. It wasn't a great game. It was right within the first 2 minutes of it. The first goal was a back pass that went awry. It went, Griffin to Forbes, and then Forbes went to pass it back. Couldn't tell who he was passing it to, but it just went right to the feet of Charleston, who didn't look like he get closed down at all. Like he just kind of like dribbles it around. No one's around him at all. And then he kind of lines up a shot and takes it in the bottom left corner. And I wouldn't even say it was like the best shot. Like I feel like all around, like keeper could have gotten it. Defenders could have blocked it. Back pass should not have been to, no one. It was just bad. And that was like an omen for the game to come. But although like after that, even though it wasn't the most exciting game, nothing happened. I mean, the second goal didn't happen until almost the 40th minute. So it wasn't like we were, on the back heel the whole game and looked like we were going to lose. What was it, 5 minutes in? Like almost like 3 minutes after that goal, we did have another shot against us that looked like it was pretty dead on. And I'm surprised.
Off a set piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was like, we're lucky that that didn't go in. So it could have been worse after in the first half until it got worse in the first half, in the 40th minute or 38th minute on, and they got 2 more goals. So yeah, it looked terrible. It looked terrible everywhere. It didn't look great, but at least there for the first half, I thought we were going to hold our own, go into halftime, a goal down. Bob was going to give his talk and we were going to come back out and maybe get a goal and, go on to win it. And then 30th minute, just another goal and then another goal. And it's like, okay, never mind. This game's over. And it looked like everyone on that field that was, every Hound on that field thought the game was over after that. And it never felt like we had an opportunity.
It felt like they thought it was over after the goal 5 minutes in. Like it was just, Kev, am I being too harsh?
No. No, I thought we played really badly. Like really badly. And I don't know, it's almost really hard for me to talk about this game given no like structure. Like I kind of like I feel like there's a lot of actually really kind of relevant and important information to talk about like the team as a whole in like smaller details in this game. Um I mean, yeah, I mean that's it. Like we weren't playing an amazing team.
Playing the
Like
worst team in the East.
Josh, you kind of like led up to it. I would say every one of their goals, you can make an argument off the corner. Every one of their goals came from a giveaway, and even I think the corner they had where they scored the second goal came from a giveaway that we had. Um, no, it was just really it was really sloppy, really tired, really lethargic. Um, you know, yeah, Kenny loses. Kenny has a turnover for the first goal, and I went back and in the second goal. Kenny's amazing. I'm not, this isn't me trying to take away anything from him, obviously, but that's Kenny's man. That he loses way too easily. Where the guy gets a clean header on the near post for the second goal, and then Dos
And the
Santos, I
third
think,
goal.
was it the third? I thought Dos
The
Santos for
third
whatever.
goal, no, third goal, Kenny got burned, and then the ball was played, I think, through Ordonez's legs, and he got burned too. So
When there was balls where like I think like and Kenny wasn't the only one. There were other people trying this pass too, but he was trying like 30-yard crossfield diagonals that just like weren't coming off. Like there was one I remember where it was one of the few early chances that we kind of had. It wasn't a chance, but like Cicerone was making a back post run and someone just tried to do like a big diagonal to hit Cicerone on the back post. He had a Charleston guy all over him who was bigger than him, and it was a floated ball. Like so, this wasn't he had room to run and he could have taken it down and could have gotten a shot. It was just bad decision after bad decision, really slow. I mean, I have a quote here that I took down while watching the game. The commentator, this was after 1-0, and they made the argument that we were slowly getting a foothold in the game, and he said Pittsburgh playing with a silent confidence, and I was like, no, this is a lethargic sloppiness. This isn't a silent confidence. This is a lethargic sloppiness, and it was
they were trying to spin it for us. They were trying to they're gonna come to life. Don't worry, keep watching, people.
No, it was really bad, and I think it changes when he starts making hockey line substitutions by the end with Ibarra is doing a little more. Toby Sims comes in, and people are just snapping into challenges a little more and not looking tight. I don't know. So I mean, I think like our best chance comes towards the very end where I think Griffin makes a late run into the box. Look, at some point I get it. You've made a lot of subs. You're 80 minutes into a game where you've been down 3-0, but like Sims crosses the ball and we have Griffin making a run and Dequa, and that's it. Like we're 3-0 down, guys. Like throughout when we were better earlier on in the season, we were regularly getting four people into the box, into a cross and trying to like put balls home. It's really bad, and I'll kind of sum up by saying, okay, so once again, poor on the road. And I'm trying to remember, like, connect the dots of like when for me might have been in retrospect a potential turning point in the season so far. It might have been the Louisville game. I mean, but like before the Louisville game, I think we were connecting passes and finishing chances that we just aren't now. And I don't, we've had moments of it where we were able to show it, particularly at home, obviously. But I don't know. It feels like a pretty big difference pre Louisville and post Louisville, this team. Because yeah, I mean, it's like we usually grow into the season, blah blah blah. And this isn't, this is something that we've lost. It's not something that like the league caught up to us in this. It just feels weird.
There was a moment in the Detroit game where I remember standing there watching it, and It's a completely different, this is not, I'm not saying anything new here to everybody who's in the Steel Army that listens. It's a completely different perspective when you are like looking down the gut of the field from behind. But there were a number of moments where you look up and literally nobody was moving off the ball. Like literally they would get to a position and just stand still. And then there was a moment in this game that I tweeted about that Shane Wheat had the ball at his feet. Nobody was pressuring him from the battery, and he could not find a pass because nobody on our team moved at all to get open for him. And that's all mental. Like that, it's just like you had an entire week off to like rest. I get that you're traveling. Like you shouldn't be tired. It's mental. And
to kind of support that too, I mean, like I've kind of said this somewhat jokingly, and somewhat serious, but and I think it points to a larger kind of mental thing that you're talking about, Mike. When I don't know, growing up, I used to like love slide tackles, and it was like, yeah, get it, what?
Wait. Watching them or performing them?
Both. I mean, to me, it was.
Is that
it was,
why your career ended a little early? Because
no.
You like
no,
to snap
but
into
see,
a
it's actually
challenge?
interesting. I liked slide tackles, and this is kind of supporting the own. I've heard people talk about this. You slide tackle when you're late, like when you haven't read the play and you're not on top of it, and you're and you're out of control, and that's I didn't like to run, so I slide tackled a lot. I didn't read the game, but like it was 10 minutes in, and I'm seeing Forbes and Griffin like go down and try to do slide and it's like, and look, I don't think that like that alone doesn't say we're terrible. I mean, like, oh, if you slide tackle, therefore you're but it is, I think, indicative of potentially larger things. It's just it's a minor supporting piece of evidence that I think goes into, Mike, what you were saying. Yeah.
So just looking at this game in sort of the microcosm of what's happened in the past 4 weeks, we got 2 points out of a possible 12 against Tampa, Miami, Detroit, and Charleston. Now, I think we all expected Tampa and Miami to be decent teams. Detroit and Charleston, we did not expect. Like Charleston still is sort of bottom of the East. So like where that came from, somehow, I mean, this is sort of the thing that drives me so nuts about this team is it feels like we have this ebb and flow every season, right? Where we're like, we look great. And then it's like, we're terrible. And sometimes it starts with, we're terrible. And then we get great. Even with all of this, we're literally 1 win back from second place in the East. So like, while we're struggling, like everybody else is struggling too. But to sort of put it in perspective, the USL Power Rankings came out today, which are total rubbish. Like I never read them, but because I knew we were going to come on the show, I was like, I wonder where they got, just like where did they put the Hounds? Again, no stock in this at all. At one point, I think we were as high as second, and we are now at 13 out of 27. So we went from a team at the beginning of the season where some of us, it wasn't me, said we were not going to lose a game all year. And
definitely
and now we are literally squarely in the middle of the field when you look at every other team playing in the USL. So, I don't know how you fix this. Like yelling isn't going to fix this. Bob put in Iang and like literally called him over to the sideline twice in the first 3 minutes to like coach him and like tell him how to play, which it's like, you're down 3-0. Like let him play. Just like let him play. And he showed moments, he showed flashes. I didn't turn off right at halftime. I stayed for like 10 minutes in, and then Miles Morales was the rest of the evening. But what do you do? Like, does anybody have any ideas? I got nothing. I don't know.
I mean, okay. I do think I don't want to push the panic button right now. I feel like we're there right now. Like a lot of people are like full on panic right now.
Josh, we just lost 3-0 to the worst team in the East.
This is the worst game we've had all season. This is definitely the worst game. And like that's that is a game. Like, I wouldn't, if you took this game out of the equation, would you be pushing the panic button right now? I don't feel like you can. One game does not make, like, you can't base all this all one game. And I will say, like, the couple of results previously were also concerning, but nothing was like dire. I feel like drawing Detroit isn't a terrible team. We thought they were going to be terrible. They're not terrible. And that is going, that game is a game that has more, I don't know, emotion than most, as far as like on their side and our side, and like it feels like a rivalry, and I feel like Detroit wants to prove themselves. So like when it comes up against like us or Louisville or like one of the top teams, they're going to like have the passion that I feel like this team is lacking right now. I will say that is one thing I am panicking about. I don't feel like our team gives a damn, which sucks. Like, I
I
want
mean,
our players to care, and I don't think they do care. Like, there's nothing to
there's
show me that they
hardware
care.
in this game, man. Like
Yeah,
the
I don't
old
even
guard
think they.
shield was up for this game. Yeah.
I bet you 90% of them don't even know that. Like, and I don't know if that's, our fault. Like, we need to be tagging the players or something like that. But I also think it's on the team. It's on Bob. It's on, the organization. Like, I bet you that never came up once. And I don't know if it should. I don't know if it should matter. They should be playing their hearts out no matter what is going on. But the fact that they just seemed not to give a damn this game, like, it was embarrassing how slow they were out there. And I know that, we were missing Dixon.
Yeah.
It looks like we were kind of like, there was nothing officially said, but I'm pretty positive his wife, this is the month she's due. I don't know when she's due. I just know she's due this month. So most likely he missed because of that, which completely legitimate. But if one player leaves, that shouldn't make the whole team fall apart. And I don't think Dixon is the reason why we lost this game. Obviously, like, having him wouldn't have made that big of a difference. But yeah, the passion just didn't feel like it was there. I don't know what that is. And it's this game, so I'm not going to panic about it. But that's like the only thing I can really think of right now is that lack of passion.
Kev, have you? I mean, you've watched probably more soccer. Well, I shouldn't say that. You've watched other teams more than I think probably Josh and I have, maybe
That's
combined. Have you? I'm sure you've seen this before. Does anything come to mind, like how teams ultimately shake this off, short of like cannon somebody or throwing somebody to the bench? Like, I don't know what you do. Like, do they all go on an expedition together on the Gateway Clipper and like?
This is not. I mean, look, there's not an easy fix to it. I don't know. There's not an obvious answer that just stares everyone in the face. I mean, I think you should take it one game at a time. You try to tie or win a game, and then just build on it. I mean, we've been good at home. You try to use that as a springboard and just slowly turn it around. Though I think it's one of the hardest things is when teams get in ruts like this. I mean, it's like
how do you stop the bleeding?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of tropes you can say. You can be like, you know what? All right, we're going to batten down the hatches. In the next game, we're not going to concede, right? We're going to put 10 people behind the ball, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. I don't think that's the right call. But what? I don't know. So we'll see. I think to me it points to it's not a talent issue. It's not a. Honestly, I don't even know if it like a work ethic thing. I'm not going to sit here and try to suggest that players aren't putting it in hard enough. I'm not around, and that's they're professionals. That would be a pretty damning critique from me sitting here in my armchair. But I think a lot of the times, confidence can kill stuff. Certain kind of like morale, cultural, things in the locker room. If like, the culture is not set right, or if players just aren't getting on with each other, that could be a thing. But yeah, no, but I'm not entirely like, so maybe something changes. But like we were clicking so well at the beginning of the season, so I don't know. I don't have an answer. It's just you try to take one thing at a time. You try to simplify everything. Stop thinking about other things you can't control. Stop looking 2, 3, 4 games out ahead and just look at the next game and just try to consolidate and do what you can, and then slowly try to turn the oil tanker around.
Josh, you were the most positive here of us. Considering that you've said, this was our worst game of the season, do you think, like in your heart of hearts, do you think that this game is going to be a wake up call where, like, okay, we hit the bottom, now we're going to start climbing back up? Or do you think that this is a sign of things to come? Like, is this a disease that we have to eradicate before we can start climbing back up again?
Jeez.
Here's the big issue. This game is in the middle of a stretch, right? So like we have the Detroit game should have been, it just you win at home, you draw away, like, and that we drew at home, and that felt like, oh, there's something wrong. And then you have this game 3-0 away, but you're playing against one of the worst teams in the league, so you're like, that's bad. And now we have to go and play Rio Grande like away, and that's like going to be a hard away game just because it's a lot of travel. It's probably going to be hot, and it's probably going to, like, there's a lot of factors there. That one's going to be another hard game for them. Which, okay, the first hard game, I think that should have been hard this 3-game stretch, and then you come back and you play the Rowdies, and like that is a hard stretch right now for them to be in after having this crap start against. I guess you could go back against the Rowdies as well. The first loss, and then a draw, then a draw, then a loss. So it's like you're in a rut, and the next 3 games, or next at least 2 games, don't look that great for you. So I don't know. I'm not saying that they have to turn around next game and they have to get a win to turn around. Like, I think a draw in that game and a draw against the Rowdies, like, I don't want to see those 2 draws. I want to see at least one of those be a win. But just stemming the bleeding might be the answer right now.
Stop the bleeding. Yeah.
So like it sucks. Like, I don't want that. Like, I want us to like go out and like feel like we can win against both these teams, and I think we can win. Like, the team that we saw at the beginning of the season could win against both these teams. But if the confidence isn't there, if the whatever it is, the mojo's gone right now, like, just don't completely fall down that hill.
I mean, you could do some small tweaks to just make yourself a bit more stout. Like, look, Forbes is an easy scapegoat for this game, but he's by no means the only one who didn't have a good game. But like, something you could, like, while watching the game, while watching Forbes have a particularly poor game, I was just like, in that moment, I was done seeing him in the middle of a midfield. Like, if you want, be our creative force out wide. I don't want you like not being an engine in the middle of the field. Maybe there are points against certain teams, certain stretches, maybe in away games, where Griffin can't be the sole engine in a midfield. Maybe, he can't do the running for, another part. I'm not saying that maybe Kenny, maybe his running is about half of what Griffin's running is, but he contributes obviously to creativity and playmaking and chance creation. Maybe it is. I know earlier in the season it was, Griffin alongside Ibarra or something, with Kenny in a different spot, or Griffin alongside Rivera or something. That might be something maybe in the short term where, that could help. But yeah, I don't know.
What about Kelly? Dan Kelly, like, was he like, I forgot he was playing the whole game. Like, the first half, he was in the whole first half. I'm like, not once was I like, oh, what's he doing? It's like, nope, just disappeared.
When we play Rio Grande, by that point, by kickoff, it'll be about 2 months since he's last scored a goal for the Hounds.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I mean, to like pour salt on the wound, I don't know if it was during it had to be during halftime. The announcers picked their all-time like top 5 players in the USL, and every one of them picked Forbes and Dane Kelly as one of their top 5. And it was just like, and here they are on the field getting battered 3-0 by the best team in the East. And it's just like, oof. So,
I mean, by the worst team in the East, but yes.
or the worst team in the East. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Just,
I think it's really in these moments, not to go back to a previous point that doesn't have an answer, but like, I don't know if the answer is you pull them all in for a 5:30 workout and keep them there forever, or I don't know if the answer is we're not even watching tape of this game. We're all going to go get ice cream and go dancing. Like, it could be either one of those. I don't know.
look, I mean, I remember, Kev, when, to take this over to the Premier League a few seasons ago when Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. Like, you didn't watch the game, and so like I wasn't sending you updates or anything like that. And after you heard the final score, you're like, I'm not going to watch it. Klopp's reaction was like, it's an anomaly. Like, we're not even going to pay attention to it. Like, we're just going to go and prep for the next one. And that's it. You have to just put it behind you. So maybe that is the tactic. Maybe Lily just, like you said, takes them out for ice cream, and then they go and they prep for RGV.
The thing is, I think this would be different is if this result came after,
out of nowhere.
Well, yeah. And we were winning games left, right, and center, playing well, playing confident. I mean, the reason why that Liverpool thing plays is because Klopp can look at Champions League winners in the eyes and say, you're not 7-2. Like, we know this. This doesn't even need to be said. Forget about it. At this point in time with some of these players, like you can't say, don't worry, guys, you're the best team in the East. Like, no one's believing that. Like, so yeah, it's a hard position to be in.
Oh man.
But yeah. I agree with Josh. I'm nowhere near panic button. I feel like I get close to these emotions every season under Bob, and then like he just finds a way to turn it around, and we end up playing well towards the end of the season. It's not a guarantee. I'm just saying there's a precedence for it, and these are a really good group of players. So I don't see us playing that badly for the rest of the season. I just don't. They're too good.
Well, and I think that's the most frustrating part for me is I am much more interested in the performances, because if the performances are good, then the results will follow. And what we've seen is that the performances have not been great. I mean, we talked last week about the XG of how, we should have had 2.5 goals against Detroit, and we had 1. That was a bit of an anomaly, but like, you could go back and look at a number of games where it felt like we were scoring at will early in the season, and now like we can't pay to put the ball in the back of the net. But even with all of that, as I put the table up on the screen, again, we have 24 points. Memphis is sitting at the top with 28. So like, it's frustrating because we know that these guys can perform better than they are. And yet we're sitting through this slog fest, and all it's going to take is like 2 games, and we're going to be back in the top 3. And everyone's like, oh yeah, they're a shoe in for the playoffs, and like everything's going to be fine. And that's like the maddening thing to me. It's just that I don't know if it's just the level of the USL or what it is, but there almost doesn't have to be a consistency. Like, I think we want that consistency. We want to see like dominant, like put your foot on the throat of the opponent and just bury them every week. And that's just not what we're going to see. We're going to see this like crazy up and down. So even at this point, we're 4 points back from first, but we're literally 1 game ahead of being out of the playoffs. Miami's sitting on 21 points and we have 24. So like, at this point, we could just as easily be out of the play. At this point next week, we could potentially be sitting outside of the playoffs. So like, that's a reality. Now, do I think that come the end of the season that we're going to miss the playoffs? No, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's more likely that we end up in the top 4 than we end up out. But, oy vey, I mean, Heart palpitations, man.
Yeah, it's stressful, and it's also like you gotta remember how early it is in the season. Like it's
I mean, we're
that
almost
just shows
halfway
you
through though. Like it's
we're not
getting
almost halfway
there.
through. Aren't we like a third of the way through? Like maybe we're closer to a third than we are to a half.
How many games are 32 games in the season? We're at 14.
Okay.
Like we're getting there.
We're getting close. You're right. We're
It
getting more
doesn't
close than I
feel
thought.
like it, but
It
like
doesn't
we
feel like it at all.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time we play Tampa at home, we'll be halfway through the season.
It's so weird though, because also it's like it's mind-boggling to think where the table's at right now, because of the fact that it is like 2 wins gets us to second or first place, 2 losses gets us out of the playoffs. That's wow. Yeah, it's crazy how tight it is right now. But yeah, I'm not worried about the playoffs. I'm worried about just one. I want more than playoffs. Like we've had playoffs now under Bob the whole time, and we've never really shown up to the playoffs. I was more excited about getting top of the league, even though it was top of the East. Even though that year we didn't really play the West, but whatever. Like that was more exciting to me than anything that's happened modern era of the Hounds. So I would like to see that, but I want to see a deep run in the playoffs, and I want to see us at the top of the table. And like both those things feel really far off right now, as far as like what all we have to do to get there. If we are going to perform like this, we're not going to probably do either. We're going to make the playoffs, bow out early, and I'm tired of that. I want to see more. So hopefully the team does too, and actually does the work to get us there.
Yeah. Well, I guess turning the page to this weekend, then we have RGV on Saturday. It's at 8:30 p.m. because it's going to be out west. What is the? I mean, is the best case scenario in this game just a point? Like, I know the absolute best is we go in and we win. We all hope for a win, but like if we come home with a point, you're gonna be like, okay, like fine, like reset. We're not bleeding. Kevin, you're shaking your head. You're also muted. Yeah. as he makes a face at us. Thanks. Yeah.
So, no, that was facing me, but no, I'm sorry. I've been muting myself because I'm coughing. Oh, absolutely. Just because, especially it's an away game, and we've been just dreadful away, and we're coming off of a back of a really bad result. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think if a 1-1 draw, no draw, I'm over the moon about that. Yeah, I'd be very happy about that.
Josh, you disagree at all?
It's less about the point and more about not looking like crap, not looking disjointed, just having a game. Oh yeah, what Liz said. Having a game.
Liz said depends on how we play too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I if we end up getting 3 points, but we just luck into it, that's great. I'm glad we got the 3 points. I won't be sad. But if we look like crap, I'm going to be really disappointed. Like I just want us to actually look like we're not standing still. What did I say during the after the game was over? Kind of in the Steel Army chat or in our Discord. I've seen slugs move with more agility. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that about this team because we're not a bad team. But yeah, so it's how we look. Get the point. Get 3 points if you can, but like, don't look like crap. That's what I want.
All right, so let me give you a hypothetical, Josh. We one of two scenarios. We go into RGV, we park the bus, and we get a 0-0 draw. Are you happier with that? Or if we go out and we see glimmers of the team that we saw earlier this season, but we lose 3-2?
That's rough. I don't know. Like I feel like we also need the points though. Like if we don't get the points, we're screwed. Like you said, it's almost halfway through the season. So no, I mean, and that if those are my options, I would rather get the point just because we need points. But if I was not thinking about the points as at all mattering, then obviously just don't look like crap is still the key.
Yeah, I think I agree with both you and Liz. Like we gotta look better, but I feel like at this point, I don't think that parking the bus is the way to do it. But at a certain point, the way you right the ship is you right the ship. And if we can't get any points on the road, then you get a point on the road and you fix that. And you say, like, look, it's doable. We're getting a point, and we're coming home, and we're going to fix that part of our game. And then we'll focus on everything else from there. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing, it's like you can never just make a decision and have it have like no effect afterwards. It's always if you do one thing, it it interacts with another thing. And I think the balance and challenge that you have when you do something like change the way you play mid-season to just try to get a result or stop bleeding or whatever, that can be a hard sell when you've been selling something else. Where all of a sudden, if in the middle of the season the narrative has been, I'm not saying this is what it has been, but let's say it has, Lily saying, you guys are great, you guys can score goals, we're a great team, we're just, let's keep. And then people go into training on Monday and he goes, we need to change, how we play, we need to change how this, you guys haven't been doing it well and blah blah blah. That's kind of like, wait a minute, like what? Like, is he losing confidence in us? Should I start losing confidence in myself and blah, blah, blah. And so that could be a hard sell sometimes to try to convince players that you've been telling one thing all season, that then all of a sudden go out and do something that you haven't been, training for. Not saying that you shouldn't do it in any occasion, but it's just, I think something that could be there.
Something else to keep in mind is as far as like how good or how bad Rio Grande is, their table is so messed up in the West. Like the team in first place has played 12 games. Rio Grande has played 15 games. Some teams have played 16 games. Like it's all over the place. And like, it's just, I don't know what to tell from this table because it's no one's played the same amount of games. It looks like first place has like 30 points. Rio Grande is sitting at 19 points. But like if they win one game, they're up in the playoff rounds. Like they're in like sixth place. So it's weird. It's a weird table. I have no clue, and I've never watched them this season, so I have no clue how good or bad they actually are.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So I think figure it out, guys. Like, I really don't know what else to say. It's just, I mean, we've used the word embarrassment a few times, but that's literally what that game was. Typically, under no circumstance will I stop watching a game just because I'm frustrated by it. But it was everything. It was going down 3 goals. It wasn't even the 3 goals. It was the lackadaisical attitude of just everything. They didn't get off the bus. They rolled up and just thought they were going to win, and they didn't put in the effort. And so it's like, if you're going to do, if that's how you're going to play, then like, why should we support you? Like do you put in the effort?
Like you change so quickly. This is early in the season. You were like, "This is the greatest team ever. We're never gonna lose."
No. Hold on.
I shouldn't even support
If you put in the effort and you're losing, then I will happily put in the effort and support you. If you show up and put in 0 effort, then like, what are you asking your fans to do?
I'll push you to it. I would say, like, I will allow a statement like that to go unchallenged if a club has been playing like that for 2 months. And I just don't think we've been playing like that for 2 months.
I think that there have been signs of this for more than just this game. This was not a just like
it hasn't been this bad for 2 months. I agree that there's been hints that we haven't been in a good way, but I think this is the first time that it's like, oh crap, like that. But that's just me.
Listen, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm obviously here to stay no matter what, and I've seen this team be worse than what it is right now, far worse for seasons, not just a couple games. But it's going to ruin my day, at least. So just be aware of that. You're ruining my day.
I'm interested in a general temperature check, Mike. You usually do this stuff, and you usually do it like next game out. And I think in some ways that makes it just really difficult. I'm going to go a little bit further out, and maybe that makes it a little easier, not in general predictions, but just general, like trying to check where your head's at with this team. Where do you think, at the end of the season, this Hounds team finishes in the East? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever. Where do you think the likely position of this team is right now?
I think beginning of the season, I was confident this team was going to be first or second in the East and like pushing to potentially be the top team in the league. Now they have we've said this, I don't know how many times in the show. They have the talent, they have the potential. The fact that it's mental is that's what is so maddening to me about this. I could honestly see us fourth or fifth in the East. Like, I think
Josh,
that
what do you
might be
think?
where this team, the talent is there to be first in the East, but like, you got to be consistent to be first in the East. Like, that's what Louisville does every friggin' year, is just consistency.
No, I agree. And like I was going to say, like fifth was where I could see us landing if we stay the course that we are right now. Like if it's, hey, we win some games at home by a lot, but then we go away and we lose or like on the off chance draw. Like that's, and then at home we're, drawing some, winning some. Like it's just, hard to tell. Like if that's the way it's going to be, yeah, probably fifth. But this team has the talent that we can get higher up than that. It just, that's where I'm seeing us right now.
I think we finished top three still. I'm not too worried about this. I think this is not a long-term trend. I think this is something that's just gonna be a blip.
Do you know what hurts, Kev? I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Like that's what this is. That's what it is. If they were out there giving 150% and they were still losing, then you say, well, we're just not good enough. But we know they're good enough and they're just not doing it. So that I'm trying to bury the hatchet here, and Harry's coming in going, Louis only has one more win than the Riverhounds. So yes, thanks Harry, appreciate it. But I know.
Yeah, look, here's the Mike. I don't give 150% in my job every day. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. We just like turn the page. I'm not even going to talk about Tampa. We gotta get through RGV this weekend, and we've all sort of said like a point is like just the cost of entry. Like we gotta come home with a point. Like that's if we come home with nothing. Like I'm glad we're not going to be on the show next week, Kev. But yeah, so that's what we think. Guys, we have a few more minutes left. Kev, I wanted to get your thoughts. Liverpool spending $100 million for a player. Nunez, thoughts? Are you upset that Mane's leaving?
I mean, I honestly, I didn't really even know this Nunez guy existed before we were linked with him.
This is Liverpool's thing. They always just like pluck these players out of obscurity and then they turn into Mo Salah. And you're like, what the frig just happened?
I mean, obscurity, yes, but at the same time, he did score like a ridiculous amount of goals last season in the Portuguese league. No, he looks great. I mean, he looks good. He looks perfect for how Klopp likes to play. I think, good age profile, 22. This will end up being, if add-ons continue as we expect them to continue, it'll be a club record. It'll break Van Dijk's transfer fee. And yeah, I mean, on a pure numbers basis, no, I wouldn't make this comparison. One, I haven't up until this point, like I said, don't know who Nunez is, and it's really hard to compare leagues. But on a numbers standpoint, over the past 18 months, he's pretty similar to Haaland. I mean, they've both scored a similar amount of goals to games ratios. Nunez scored 6 goals in the Champions League this season for Benfica. He scored against Liverpool. He scored against Barcelona. So yeah, I still think Haaland's a better player. I think it's interesting how people are making arguments like who's better. No, Haaland. I mean, for me, he's better. But I think it's great, and I'm really happy with it. Mane leaving, yeah. I mean, look, Mane and Salah and Firmino they weren't gonna pull a James Milner and stay here until they're 37. So it was always going to happen. That Mane did great things here, and cool. So I think the hard part would be there's been scenarios in the past where Suarez leaves and we're like, crap, we have no one. Coutinho leaves, crap, we have no one. Liverpool have been really shrewd in bringing in really good players, like you said, from obscurity, and just being like, oh yeah, Luis Diaz is good, whoever the hell he was, like, and so yeah, I'm not too worried. I think they planned it out pretty well.
My hate for City is like full war once again because they bring in Holland and now they want to sign Calvin Phillips for a reported 60 million as well. And it's like, sure, just like buy everybody, just do it. Like, whatever. Although I watched a video right before this where it was talking about why Mbappe didn't go to Real. And apparently there was a moment where Real Madrid thought they were going to get both Holland and Mbappe, and then like they got neither. They got neither. So like, yeah. I keep saying Real. Another plug for if you haven't seen it, go look up The Champions on YouTube.
Yeah, that's great. Riley loves it. She's like, when
my kids love
it.
it. Yeah. My kids absolutely. We went all the way back and watched from season 1 through season 6. Like they can each episode is like 5 minutes, so like you can watch all of season 1 in 30 minutes. And so like before we were going to bed, we would watch it. But it's awesome because they've learned players in ways that like they never would have learned just watching them on TV. Like there's an entire episode where they send the youngsters from the Champions League house to the Europa League hotel, and Jamie Vardy gives them a tour to like scare them. And the whole time Jeremy Vardy's just like crushing Red Bulls, and like his whole thing is just like to freak them out and think they're going to go to the Europa League. And now like Jamie Vardy's name is tossed around the house all the time just because he's funny. Like this caricature.
It's an animated show that
it
spoofs
is.
These players, just so people know. Like it's not actually Vardy. It's not actually on the show doing something. Like this is all like a kind of like, I wouldn't even say it's. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the animation style. It's pretty crude. It's like not South Park crude, but it's pretty crude animation style. Yeah. But it kind of reminds me of something like South Park.
Have you seen it, Josh?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The caricatures are spot on though. Like, I mean, Ronaldo and Messi and like.
Yeah.
I think Laura Ellen usually posts one every time it comes out. Not every time, but like, in our group chat. So yeah. But yeah. Hey, Everton might be getting bought, so that's cool. No, not really.
Wait, really?
Well, what's going on there?
I thought your owner had like a bunch of money.
Yeah, Everton takeover reports emerged. Apparently, Peter Kenyon, he's like the guy who used to be the former Manchester United and Chelsea CEO. Kenyon is spearheading a group that includes blah 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 blah, a whole bunch of other people.
Is it a nation state? That's what you need to know these days.
Is no,
nation
state? It look like it.
Then you're good.
Is it Qatar? Is it Saudi? Is it
a bunch of business people? I don't know. And then the consortium is believed to be taking advice from U.S. law firm. Blah 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 blah. Basically, early stages of a possible like offer to buy the club, but it doesn't. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't know why our owner would do it, because he has money. So we'll see.
I mean, what FSG is like a consortium, right? There was an opening of the Champions that had LeBron James in it, and the boys were like, "What? LeBron James?" I was like, "He owns part of Liverpool." Like, yeah, it's a thing. So,
and we also might be selling Richarlison to Tottenham.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So who knows? It's all good. Like, I think Lampard's looking to like get 5 new players in the offseason and some other stuff. So we'll see.
Are there any hints and rumors at who he's looking at? That he
Nothing that sounds interesting to me. Like all the players are like Burnley player or like stuff like that. I'm like, cool. That will do it.
Yeah. Mike, what about Villa?
I'm excited. They got Boubacar Kamara. They got from France, who's supposed to be like this wonder kid holding midfielder. That a number of teams were trying to get. So that was good. They brought in, oh, was it Diego Carlos? Like he looks like a boxer. He's a center back from Spain. I think he played for Madrid, and then Atletico Madrid. They signed Coutinho, so I think that was like one of the big things.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of rumors swirling about what's next. I was worried because their assistant, Michael Beale, who like apparently was like the brains of the operation. Like Gerard was like the face and like the manager, but like Beale sort of managed the day-to-day practices and stuff. Beale left to go coach a championship side. And so everyone was like, what's going to happen? And then they brought in the manager of Blackpool, who apparently, like, they actually somehow upgraded that position too. Like, the guy used to coach in Liverpool's academy. He coached the head team or the first team at one point while a bunch of guys were out. He got Blackpool into promotion after his first year. Like, the team absolutely loved him. So I'm just waiting for more signings. It sounds like they're going to be getting players out now before they bring anybody else in, but Gerard seems to be like all business, man. Most of the signings happened before like the window even opened, because he's like, you're getting in here, you're part of the team, you're going to show up to training camp. There's not going to be any excuses like, oh, they showed up 2 days before. So like,
I remember when he did the Gary Neville podcast or whatever, and they were talking about players rolling up in super fancy cars, and Neville was like, "How do you feel about that as a manager or whatever?" He's like, "I don't care if they can back it up." He's like, "As long as they can back it up." He's like, "If I see them in training and they miss their first touch, then I care." Like, but if you're out there and if you're the best in training, sure, drive a Ferrari, come in and do whatever you want.
I forgot that Gerard played in MLS. Like, he played
Yeah.
for LA Galaxy for a year or two, which is crazy. So, no, I'm Aston Villa Twitter, man. I check that daily just to sort of see what's going on. And actually, you know, I'm not plugging them, but I've been fairly happy with the coverage that the Athletic has been putting together too, like behind the scenes stuff. And some of the videos they put out, I watched one today too about like how Pirlo sees the game, which was very interesting. Apparently, when he he went from being a player to coaching Juventus's like U21 team for like literally 9 days, and then they were like, okay, now you're the first team manager. But like, to do it, he put together like a booklet of like how he thinks that teams should play, and the team made that public. And so like they like broke down like how he talked about it and the science behind it, and I was like, oh, that's fascinating. But it's like, players don't have set positions, you have roles, and like your role can change depending upon where you move yourself into the field. But yeah, lots of good stuff from that. So
yeah, Pirlo's cool. He's really cool.
He has great hair.
Great hair. And he always played with such calm and grace and just, he's like a swan. He's amazing.
Like we need to end on that. He's like a swan. We're just going to... After the episode we had, he plays like a swan.
Just like just look at some YouTube comps. He's amazing.
That's the perfect way to end this. Guys, is there anything else you wanted to talk about in this one?
No.
Nope. All right. Kev and I, Liz just said, what is happening? Kev and I will not be here next week, and then I will not be here the following week. I will be at camp, so I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I
feel insulted by Liz saying what is. It feels like you don't know us. Like this is where have you been? Like this is where we naturally go. Like,
listen. In all honesty, I was kind of hoping the entire episode would be this. I didn't want to talk about the game at all, and I knew we could do this for like an hour and a half if we had to. But
we've had agile slugs and swans.
Well, welcome to Mongols. Well, thank you everybody for going on this journey with us, I guess. This is your weekly reminder. Black Lives Matter. We are proudly part of the Beautiful Game Network, which is home to more than 100 volunteer writers and podcasters covering local soccer. Help us all keep doing what we're doing. Head to bgn.fm and click the donate button to help us cover our expenses. We appreciate your support. Otherwise, thanks everybody. We will talk to you very, very soon.
Cheers.
Later.